We're live.
We are live. And I'm going to start recording. Okay, here's Rick, here's Mike. Hi, Maureen.
Hey, Liz, how are you?
Good, how are you, Sarah?
Good.
Okay. I don't know whose number that is, but...
It's Greg.
Hello, hello.
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 Here's Sarah.
There's Bridget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Bridget. Brian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everybody's here.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Mayor.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry, is your volume down maybe? No. I just see your lips moving. You might want to call him with your phone maybe, or oh, he's just gonna try back, I guess. Okay, here he goes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Sorry about that, whatever it was. Is everyone good with the minutes of the regular meetings, May 18th, June 1st, and June 15th?
From what I can remember that far back, yes.
Gotcha, okay. And special meeting of council on August 17th. Good, okay. Sarah, you have a committee report tonight, and Bridget, you have committee reports?
Yes.
Great.
Also,
Okay, Bill, you have an ordinance for first reading. Sarah, you have an ordinance for first reading.
Yep.
And Bridget, you have an ordinance for first reading.
Yep.
Everybody gets an ordinance. Bridget, you have second reading,
Yes.
and Bill and Bridget both have passage without three reads.
Yep.
Ordinance and a resolution. Everyone's all set?
No, I have something. I thought we were talking about going to talk about the rezoning the one parcel in committee before going to council meeting. Didn't go to committee at all.
No, there's no committee tonight that I know of.
I think so we always do a first read and then it goes to committee. We discuss it in committee between the first and the second read. Is that what you're concerned about, that we're going to be moving it forward?
Yeah, I think we should go to committee on this first. It's a big issue.
Can we go to committee on it first? Doesn't it have to be read, then go to committee if it's
It
not
has to go to committee in order to get, well, I mean, it's gonna get referred to a committee, but then
The assigned committee, yeah.
the referral letter, based on that timeline I sent you, I would literally need to do the ad tomorrow to get the public hearing, which is kind of why it's on.
Yeah, I mean, either way, without a traffic study, there's no way I'm going to vote for this thing anyway. So
Still gonna go to committee.
right.
But the referral tonight is basically what's gonna allow me to do the ad, which I have to do tomorrow in order to get it done with the 30 days notice to have the public hearing.
I mean, that's fine. I don't feel comfortable voting on that tonight, or at least I'm not going to vote for it. So,
Greg, it's not up for passage.
It's on
What's that?
first reading. It's on
It's
first
on
reading.
it's on first reading.
Nothing to vote on tonight.
It'll be in committee next week.
okay.
There's nothing to vote on rezoning tonight. All right, Brian, do you have anything for roundtable?
Not tonight.
Bill?
Nothing, Mike.
Sarah?
Nothing.
Green?
Nope.
Bridget?
Yes, I have three things, Mike. First, I had a complaint about people in Nelson Russ Park, dogs but not on leashes. One instance, the police were called. And the dog owner said he would not put his dog on a leash unless there was a sign there that said that he needs to do so. It is in our charter that dogs need to be on leashes in parks. So I was wondering if we could get a sign up there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if there's a sign or not. Dogs aren't allowed to be in a park. Dogs aren't allowed to be anywhere in the city without a leash on, and the guy should have been cited if he wants to argue about it.
I agree with Council President Kilbane, and we'll talk with Kerry Sullivan about a sign. But I'll let Chief Shepherd know to let the officers know that it's not a negotiable sign or no sign. The ordinance is pretty clear.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up to our attention.
And then I'd like two things for me, please. First, I'd like to put in the ordinance regarding garbage cans being seen from the street, which is in our charter, it's 1325.05.
So you want the topic of,
Being able to see garbage cans from the street.
you want to discuss that in committee?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a resident upset about that.
What section is that again?
1325.05. And then I would also like to put back into finance committee budget discussions.
Everyone good with that?
Yep.
Yes.
Liz, what section was it? Was the
132505. I'm looking up the title, the section title right now.
That's a state code, right? That's not a city ordinance.
pardon me, Bill?
That's not a city ordinance.
That should be a city ordinance as far as the
Should be. That's a state code, I believe.
trash
No, I
can.
think we changed that back when, oh my gosh, that was when Director Kennedy was the service director. They changed that section.
That'd be a 5 number, I believe.
All right, thanks, Brid.
It's called garbage receptacles, Mike, that section.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Bridget, do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, Michael.
Greg?
Nothing.
Liz, do you have anything?
I do not, no.
Mayor Cooney?
Yes, earlier this afternoon, I just want to let everybody know that we had a ceremony to swear in Chief Paul Shepherd. It was in front of City Hall. We probably had 50 to 60 people there. I had family and friends and fellow police officers and members of the safety forces there. It was a very nice event. So he is up and running, and I know he met with all of you, or I know if he hasn't, I know he has plans to. And so if you have any questions for him, just reach out to him. Other than that, we're working on the CARES Act. There was a Treasury regulation recently released where funds from the CARES Act could be used towards safety forces for their reimbursement of their salary. So we're working on that, and we'll have an update for you here in the near future. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, the regular meeting will begin at 7 o'clock.
Well, that was the caucus. The meeting starts at 7.
Everyone's here. We'll begin the regular meeting. Okay, the regular meeting of council of the city of Fairview Park for Monday, October 5th, 2020 is now called to order. Have a moment of silent reflection. Okay, will the clerk please call roll?
Mr. Simmerly,
Here.
Mr. Minnick,
Here.
Mrs. Adler,
Here.
Mr. Kilbane,
Here.
Mrs. Waring. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, here.
Mrs. King,
Here.
Mr. Berger,
Present.
Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meetings of council, May 18th, June 1st, and June 15th, 2020. Is
So moved.
Second.
there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick, Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Kilbane,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Motion carries. The minutes are approved. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of council of August 17th, 2020. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
Yes.
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Kilbane,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries and the minutes of the special meeting, August 17th, 2020 are approved. Okay, we'll have this evening's committee reports with local government and community services. Councilwoman Waring, Chair.
Thank you, Council President. The Local Government and Community Services Committee
Councilwoman
met
Waring?
via, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Local Government and Community Services Committee met via Zoom beginning at 7:23 on September 28th, 2020. In attendance were members of council, Mayor Cooney, Law Director Riley, Lieutenant Shepard, School Superintendent Wagner, and other members of the administration. Council discussed that nationally, there is a growing conversation on the topic of systemic racism and how it affects communities. Council agreed that it is prudent to determine how systemic racism affects our community in Fairview Park and how we can identify and close gaps in our laws and procedures to make sure that all citizens are treated fairly and given an equal chance at success. Council set forth the following goals to further guide this discussion throughout the year. Number 1, create an anti-racism task force that can make recommendations to the council and the administration. Number 2, release a written response to the June 15th meeting and discussion. Number 3, audit past and future legislation and city policies to ensure they do not unfairly discriminate against any group of people. Number 4, further educate the council and community on what systemic racism is and how it affects communities, and then encourage conversation on the topic. Number 5, investigate the city's approach to HR administration and determine if the city needs its own HR administrator. Number 6, encourage conversation. Local government and community services ended at 8 p.m.
Okay, Council President lost his connection. He's trying to log back on. So I know, I'm sorry, Councilwoman King also has a report.
Should I do the finance report then?
Yeah.
Okay. The Finance Committee met via video conference on September 28th, 2020 at 7 p.m. In attendance were members of council, Mayor Cooney, Director Single, Director Costello, Director Riley, Monica Jordan, Lieutenant Shepard, and members of the community. Ordinance 2034, issuing and the sale of Series 2012 bonds for the Gemini Center. The discussion centered around the fact that after the passage of this ordinance, as long as all elective members remain, then the sale of the bonds could take place when the market is favorable. Matt Skidinski explained that he has been watching the markets and now is the time to act. Mayor Cooney and Law Director Riley assured us that this ordinance could be repealed or revoked if the sale does not take place soon, answering the concerns for the fact that there is no end date on this ordinance. We were also assured that prior to the final sale, it would be brought before council. A motion was made to have this ordinance on third read and final passage, and it passed with the vote of 7-0. Ordinance 2036, contract with McGowan and Company for city insurance. An invitation has been extended to McGowan to join our next committee meeting to explain the current coverage and changes. A motion was made to place this on second read and remain in committee, and it passed with a vote of 7-0. The Finance Committee concluded at 7:22 p.m. This concludes my report.
Okay, he's still not on here. President Pro Tem, do you mind stepping in until we can get him back on?
Yes, okay. Right now, to the legislative agenda. Legislation first reading. I have an ordinance for first reading. Please sign number. Read the title.
Ordinance 2038, requested and sponsored by Councilman Minnick. An ordinance amending the zone map of the city of Fairview Park, Ohio by rezoning the area described herein from general business A to general business B.
Thank you. Ordinance 2038, placed on first reading, assigned to the Environment, Public Works, Planning, Zoning, and Development Committee. Councilwoman Waring.
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem. I would like to place a resolution up for first reading.
Thank you. Would the clerk please read the title?
Resolution
Title.
2014, requested by Councilwoman Waring, sponsored by City Council as a whole. A resolution supporting the Fairview Park City School District 7.9 mil continuing operating levy on the November 3rd, 2020 ballot and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. First reading and referred to the Local Government and Community Services Committee. Councilwoman King.
Thank you. I would like to place an ordinance up for first reading.
Would the clerk please assign a number, read the title.
Ordinance 2039, requested by Mayor Patrick Cooney, sponsored by Councilwoman King, co-sponsored by Councilman Minnick. An ordinance supporting and authorizing the submission of an application to the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, NOACA, for the 2021 Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative, TLCI Planning Grant Program, and authorizing the mayor to accept any awarded grant funds and file all documents and execute all agreements necessary to receive any awarded grant funds and declaring an emergency.
Ordinance 2039. First reading. Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Legislation for second reading, Councilwoman King.
Thank you. I would like to place an ordinance up for second reading.
Would the clerk please read the title?
Okay, ordinance 2036, requested by Greg Single, Finance Director, sponsored by Councilwoman King. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with McGowan and Company for the professional services of providing insurance requirements of comprehensive general liability, police professional liability, firefighters/ambulance attendants liability, boiler and machinery insurance, comprehensive automotive and physical damage liability, public officials liability, volunteer coverage, property and equipment coverages, umbrella coverage, cyber protection coverage, and active shooter coverage, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ordinance 2036 is placed on second reading. Return to the Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Any audience input for legislation for passage, Liz?
We have not received anything, and it looks like we have, Council President, is your mic working?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Okay, so we have no audience input. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
No, I haven't received anything.
All right, Bill.
Thank you, Council President. I have a resolution for emergency passage.
Please assign a number and read the title.
Resolution 2015, a resolution congratulating Police Chief Eric Upperman on his retirement after 36 years of service to the city.
Councilman Minnick.
Thank you, Council President. I move the charter provision, Rule 49, requiring the resolution be read at 3 separate meetings be suspended, and then be placed before council for emergency passage.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
Yes.
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Motion carries. Councilman Minnick.
Thank you, Council President. I move that Rule 53, requiring reference to committee be dispensed with, and the resolution be placed on final passage.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
Yes.
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Motion carries. Prior to call for passage of resolution 2015, is there any further discussion?
Council President,
Councilman Minnick.
I request the resolution be read in pertinent part.
Do I have concurrence?
I concur.
Go right ahead and read the resolution, Councilman Minnick.
I believe Sarah offered to read the resolution. Sarah, I
Yes,
defer
I
to you.
A resolution congratulating Police Chief Eric Upperman on his retirement after 36 years of service to the city. Whereas Eric Upperman was hired as a Fairview Park patrolman on September 1st, 1984, was promoted through the ranks and formally sworn in as the 7th police chief on October 21st, 2013, and whereas Chief Upperman served in a number of leadership roles during his tenure with the department, including pre-hire physical fitness and agility tester, ASP tactical baton instructor, breathalyzer PR-24 instructor, commander of auxiliary unit, contract negotiator, defense tactics instructor, field training officer, and animal control officer. Chief Upperman was the chairman of the West Shore Enforcement Bureau in 2014 and played an integral part in forming the Bureau's crisis intervention and quick response teams. And whereas he has also been instrumental in initiating several lasting programs and initiatives in the department, county, and the community at large. He created the Fairview Park Police Department Weight and Workout Room, Safety Security Workshop for Fairview High School seniors, Wooden Nickel Reward Program, transitioning to the county 911 system and the license plate reader program. He instituted the department's police bicycle unit and established a domestic violence victim outreach program. And whereas Chief Upperman helped to usher the department into the 21st century by obtaining new pieces of technological equipment, such as the MARCS multi-agency radio communication system, digital radio system, patrol car dash cams, a stealth radar unit used for speeding complaints by residents, a traffic cam on the Lorraine Road Bridge, and a true speed SXB total station, which is used in traffic accidents and crime scene investigations. And whereas Eric and his wife Diane have been married for 36 years and residents of the city since 1986. They have 3 children, Alicia, 33, Ashley, 32, and one son, Brett, 22, who all attended Fairview Park City Schools. Whereas in his free time, he enjoys weightlifting and fitness. He's a computer enthusiast, gardening, amateur photography, avid reader, and hiking. Chief Upperman is hoping to do some travel upon retirement and work on projects around the house. Whereas Chief Upperman oversaw the revivals of defunct programs, services, and upgrades to the department, including bringing manpower complement back to 27 officers, the Policeman of the Year recognition ceremony, renovation of the city kennels. Some of his outgoing projects included a renovation of records reception, radio room and detective bureau areas, replacement of the antiquated paper ink fingerprinting with a digital fingerprint system, and total overhaul of the department's locker room facility. These accomplishments display and are a testament to his earnest dedication to all that embodies the profession of law enforcement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Fairview Park, County of Cuyahoga, and State of Ohio, that this council pauses in its deliberations to honor Eric Upperman on the occasion of his retirement from the City of Fairview Park Police Department and commend his outstanding 36 years of public service, leadership, and dedication, and further acknowledge and record its appreciation as well as the appreciation of this community, and wish him much happiness and fulfillment in his retirement.
Thank you, Councilwoman Waring. Prior to call for passage of resolution 2015, is there any further discussion?
Council President,
Councilman Minnick.
thank you. I retired in 1984 from our fine police department. Chief Upperman was appointed. Now, 36 years later, I have the opportunity to participate in his retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Minnick. Prior to call for passage of resolution 2015, is there any further discussion? I again would like to congratulate the chief on his retirement and wish him a healthy and happy retirement, and thank him for his many years of service to Fairview Park. Okay, prior to call for passage of resolution 2015, if there is no further discussion, will the clerk please call roll on passage of resolution 2015?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
Yes,
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Kilbane,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Resolution 2015 passes. Councilwoman King.
Council President, I would like to place an ordinance up for emergency passage.
Will the clerk please assign a number and read the title?
Ordinance 2040, requested by Mayor Patrick J. Cooney, sponsored by Councilwoman King, co-sponsored by Councilman Minnick. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administration to apply for, accept, and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the city of Fairview Park for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities / infrastructure, designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman King.
Thank you, Council President. I move that provision in Rule 49 requiring that legislation be read at 3 separate meetings be suspended and that it be placed before council for emergency passage.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
yes,
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
The motion carries. Councilwoman King,
Thank you, Council President. I move that Rule 53 requiring reference to committee be dispensed with and ordinance 2040 be placed on final passage.
so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
yes,
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Motion carries. Prior to call for passage of ordinance 2040, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on passage of ordinance 2040?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
yes,
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2040 passes. That will conclude our, oh no, I'm sorry. We'll now have legislation for third reading and final passage. Councilwoman King.
Council President, I would like to place ordinance 2034 up for third read and final passage.
Will the clerk please read the title?
Ordinance 2034, requested by Mayor Patrick Cooney, sponsored by Councilwoman King. An ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $18,750,000 for the purpose of refunding of the city's outstanding various purple refunding bonds, Series 2012, dated October 30th, 2012, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Prior to call for passage of ordinance 2034, is there any further discussion?
Council President,
Councilwoman King.
I would like to make a motion to amend ordinance 2034 in the second whereas clause to change the year from 2023 to 2020.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on the motion to amend?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
yes, yes,
I'm sorry, Bill, I heard you say, I didn't hear the yes, so can you just, did you say yes?
yes,
Okay. Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Motion carries. The ordinance is amended. Prior to call for passage of ordinance 2034, is there any 2034 amended? Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, will the clerk please call roll on passage of ordinance 2034 amended?
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
yes,
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Cobain,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring,
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Ordinance 2034 amended passes. And that will conclude our legislative agenda for this evening. We will now have reports and communications from Mayor Cooney and his directors. Mayor Cooney, if you are ready.
Thank you, Council President Kilbane. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to let you know that today the transportation services started at the senior center. They'll be taking folks to local grocery stores, Giant Eagle, Marks, and Aldi's, and also to doctor's appointments and other trips here within the city of Fairview Park. If anybody has an interest, please call the senior center to schedule a trip. On October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., there'll be flu shots at the senior center. We had sent a notice out on that in the newsletter, and then shortly thereafter, we were informed that it was not going to be on October 15th, which was the date in the newsletter, but October 22nd. We have reached out to those who have already signed up to let them know that the date change. We will also inform people on our website and Facebook of this change. But if you know somebody who is interested in the flu shot, they should contact the senior center. On October 26th, the annual Seniors Helping Seniors will be taking place, where members of the senior class at Fairview High School will assist the seniors in our community with raking their leaves. We appreciate our senior class helping our seniors in the community. And I know last year it was moved a number of times due to weather. Actually, I think it was moved back initially because not enough leaves were down, and then pushed back due to snow. So we will keep people informed if there are changes necessary due to weather. But if you know somebody's interested in that service, we would ask that they call the senior center. And I'd like to acknowledge former director Regina Sillison for starting this program. It's a great program. And speaking of a great program, on September 24th at Bain Park, we had a great concert. Laura Brodnos had taken a survey of our seniors about getting together, possibly having a concert. We initially thought about having it here in the parking lot behind the senior center. And there was a thought that it'd be, Bain Park would be a better setting, which it certainly turned out to be. The seniors had, in the survey, it suggested Jeff Vargas, the artist, and Jeff came out to play and he did a great job. He played for about an hour, and it was a nice time. It was a beautiful day. It was nice to get a lot of our seniors back together. Gina Sillison was there. A lot of people were able to see her. And I would like to thank Laura for her efforts in putting that together and organizing it, as well as Kathleen Fan and our rec director Carrie Kapp and assisting that day. It was a good time, and I think something we're going to look to do in the future. I've also talked with Laura about events that will be taking place at the senior center. We're working on a schedule, and we will be getting that out to all of you and to our seniors here in the very near future. We don't have a date certain. There's some classes that were Silver Sneakers classes that we're looking into, some other programming that we're looking into. Because of the governor's order, it's not going to be the same as it was in the past. There's testing requirements, number requirements. So we will, we're working on those protocols, and as we get those in place, we'll be letting everybody know. At the rec department, at the Gemini Center on October 1st, the gym was open to allow people to use it for basketball. They can shoot around, and maybe do some drills. There's not to be any games at this point in time. Children under 15 are able to use the facility, it's provided they're accompanied by an adult. And that applies not just to the gym, but to any part of the facility where, again, children under 15 are allowed to use it, provided they're accompanied by an adult. We've been having some programming ongoing at the Gemini for a few weeks now. We've had some very good attendance, and we're going to continue with that. We'd ask the people, if they're interested, that they pre-register the class. With the class, there's a few of them that have already sold out. So there's been some interest there, and we're going to, keep looking at ways we can expand service and keep people safe. Flag football started this past weekend. Volleyball will be starting this week, and youth rec soccer will be starting next week. I know that Director Kemp is currently looking into protocols for basketball, both for rec and then also for our collaborative leagues that we have with some of the surrounding communities. It appears that will be going forward, but more details will be provided in the near future. I'd like to congratulate new Chief Paul Shepard. He was sworn in this afternoon here at City Hall. We, in 2020 fashion, in order to be socially distanced, we did it outside in front of City Hall. It was another beautiful day weather-wise, and beautiful crowd. I'd say there were probably 40 to 50 people there. Chief Shepard's family, friends, a number of former members of the Fairview Park Police Department, as well as current members of our department, and other current safety force members were there. So we'd like to congratulate Chief Shepard on his promotion. I know it was he and Lieutenant Mike Wickus worked very hard for this promotion. And they've been working very well today, moving forward collaboratively and moving our department forward. I'd also like to thank Chief Shepard for reaching out to council and also to members in our community to engage in dialogue about the service that is provided by our police department, to help council, help our community better understand the role that they have here in our community, but also get their perspective on things that can be, what the community would like to see, and how they interact with the police. So we wish Chief Shepard the best of luck, and we wish him and all the members of our police department good health, and that they stay safe. That concludes my report, Council President Kilbane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Cooney. Public Service and Development Director Costello.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to thank all of City Council for passing our legislation for the TLCI applications and the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund application. We're really looking forward to those two projects being meaningful for the city. We last week had pre-construction meetings for the Story Road, Thomas Lane Green Space project and the sidewalk project on Northwood, Eastwood, on the west side of 210, and Belvedere and Stanford. So those projects will be moving forward. If you have any questions about those, don't hesitate to contact me. And this Wednesday, we have a pre-construction meeting for the Dominion East Ohio Gas Project that'll be on West 220 between Lorraine and the I-480 bridge. Watch for that safety zone to start being implemented as early as this Sunday and be in place for Monday. That's a very involved project. There'll be some traffic constrictions and expect delays. We'll be notifying the schools once we have the entire information from our pre-construction meeting on Wednesday. I'd like to thank the department. They've been working hard using that tree truck and taking down some large trees. They today had a demonstration of some sewer jet new equipment that we could possibly consider. There's been many street repairs that they finished, and they're getting the leaf machines ready for the inevitable. So thank you again for your kind assistance tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Director. Finance Director Single. Is Greg with us?
Greg, you might have to unmute. I'm tapping to unmute you.
All right, we'll move to Law Director Riley. Do you have anything, Law Director? Striking out here.
Looks like he
I don't
fell
even see
off the
him.
line.
Okay. Do we have,
Sorry to interrupt, but I know he had a really long report tonight, so that's probably a good thing.
probably is. All right, City Engineer Kerber, are you available?
Yes, thank you, Council President Kilbane. We conducted pre-construction meetings with the service director this week for RJ Platten for Thomas Lane and with DRS Enterprises for the Tree and Sidewalk Program. We anticipate both those projects beginning later this week or early next week. That concludes my report. Very short. Thank you.
Very informative. Thank you. Clerk Westbrooks, have we been contacted with anyone who would like to participate in public session this evening?
I haven't received anything.
Thank you. All right, we'll go right to miscellaneous business and comments by members of council. Councilman Simmerly.
Thanks. I just wanted to congratulate Chief Shepherd as well and say that I'm looking forward to working with him in the future and just down with him some more as well. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Minnick.
Thank you, Council President. I received a email from the councilman from Portsmouth, Ohio. I relayed it to our efficient clerk for dissemination to all members of council. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Minnick. Councilwoman Adler.
I want to echo Councilman Simmerly's sentiments to welcome Paul Shepherd and thank him for taking the time to meet with us. And he's very much on top of things, and I look forward to having him as our chief. I also wanted to mention I'd gotten in a conversation with a few residents. They commented on a woman that they'd noticed over the past month who was hanging out on the corner of 210 and Lorraine, frequently on a bench there, and then they noticed her under the bus pavilion when it was raining. Basically, I called the police, and just to let all residents know and the rest of council know that they did try and approach her. They did bring in professionals to see if she was potentially a homeless woman or in need of some sort of assistance. She said she was fine. She refused any assistance with regard to housing or any kind of employment opportunities, which were also offered to her by professionals. And basically for now, she just feels safer being outside. And she has bags with her and has been on this corner on and off where a number of people have been noticing. But the police assured me in their attempts to approach and help her, she refused any help and seemed fine, but potentially, some mental illness issues. I did want to just let everyone be aware of this and to be aware that our police have acted on it, as they have also brought in professionals to try and help this woman at this time. And that concludes my report.
Councilwoman Adler,
Yes.
if I may, that's a continuing problem I have at the RTA shelter or the transit center at Glenbar and Center Ridge. Homeless individuals residing there. And it's a continuing factor, and there's nothing can be done about it. RTA just advises them to move on, but again, you don't want to get everybody upset. So our police department is randomly checking it, RTA is checking it. It's a continuing problem. I believe there's right now, there's about maybe 3 or 4 living at the RTA shelter.
Yeah, this was, sorry, Councilman Minnick, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No problem.
No, the woman, just so it's right at the Dairy View at 220 in Lorraine. She's just sitting on that bench a lot. So, but thank you for interjecting. You know, our police are on top of it, and that's what I wanted to make sure everyone was
Yes.
aware.
Yeah, can I ask a question? So would you know which professional offered her housing, or which profession? You said professional agency. Do you know which one or who got
I
involved?
do not. All I know is the police department told me that they had people reach out to offer her assistance, and that was pretty. I didn't get a name.
Okay.
I can ask.
If you do find out, could you let me know? I'm interested.
Sure.
Councilwoman, thank you for your efforts to help this person.
Sure. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Councilwoman Waring.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to say congratulations to Chief Upperman on his retirement. Well-deserved, and he did a wonderful job serving our community. And a fine welcome as Chief to Paul Shepard. We are glad to have you on board, and we look forward to the wonderful things that you are going to do. You know, the city has been moving into fall mode, and you know, it's beautiful to see the trees changing and to see the athletics changing, kids going back to school. As a reminder, Fairview Park City Schools do go back in person starting tomorrow in hybrid mode. So please mind your pedestrians as you're trying to drive throughout the city. I know that the other schools have been back in session, but the kids are going to get a lot more numerous on the roadways in the next couple of days. You know, I appreciate everything that the administration is doing to get us ready to tackle leaf and I don't really want to say it's snow season. So I do appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing these seasons turn. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman King.
Thank you, Council President. I would also like to congratulate Chief Shepard, and I really look forward to working with him. And I wanted to remind everyone that early voting does start tomorrow downtown at the Board of Elections. For the first 2 weeks, it will be open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Berger.
Just congratulations to the chief, and it was good to see his farewell luncheon so well attended, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I too would like to congratulate Paul Shepard again and thank him for taking the time to meet with all of council. And we had some good discussions, and I look forward to working with the chief soon. So the chair is going to assign the budget discussion back to the finance committee. And also the topic of garbage receptacles to the Environment Planning and Zoning Committee. And there being nothing else to come before council this evening, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I think Director Singal is on. I think I don't know if you wanted to hear his report now or not. If it's out of order, I apologize.
No, it's not. Greg, do you have something for us?
I'll make it real quick. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to touch any more buttons on my phone. Two items tonight. One, monthly reports for September have been distributed. As always, if there are any questions, please let me know. Second item is Patrick Musinti from McGowan will be at our next committee meeting to discuss the upcoming renewal. So he will be calling in or zooming in a week from today. Talk about the upcoming renewal here on November 1st. And that's all I have. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Finance Director.
Thank you.
Okay, there being nothing else to come before this council this evening, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call roll on the motion to adjourn.
Mr. Simmerly,
Yes.
Mr. Minnick,
Yes.
Mrs. Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Philbane,
Yes.
Mrs. Waring. Mrs. Waring, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. Berger.
Yes.
Council is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.